This is Umar for BoxNation. We're in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia after, a mental 10 or 15 hours. Spencer, you must be one of the most stressed men in the world right now.
Yeah, it seems to be. There's always stress over it. There's always something. It's always something happens, and there's always somebody. There's always a favourite gets beaten, and there's always something that happens here. There's always a story. But this week's been more stories than most times we're out here.
Yeah, of course, you're referring to what happened with Floyd Schofield, which was
Yeah.
bizarre. And then, obviously, we learnt about Daniel Dubois.
Just as you thought you couldn't be anything else happened. When we're 2 days out, surely nothing else can happen. And Daniel Dubois goes down with a crippling flu. He's meant to be quite bad, apparently. So
Yeah, for him to pull out, 2 days
he doesn't
before.
pull out, does he, Daniel? He's not interested. He's got a lot of money at stake there as well, and it's just unbelievable.
I'm glad you said that, because there are people with conspiracy theories saying he's bottled it. And
Daniel Dubois ain't gonna duck with nobody, is he? He's a tough, rough boy who doesn't. These big fights don't come around that often. Once or twice a year, and he's not going to go down. But he's not the only one. There's a few people who've gone down with this flu-like thing. So,
Spencer, just talk me through how we got to Martin Bakole, because I was hearing Lawrence Okoli and David Adelaide, who both train in Dubai, were being looked at, which seemed logical. But to get someone in from the Congo and do a deal with an hour just seemed impossible. But it got done. How did it get done?
Well, first of all, I think we were looking at Joe Joyce.
Okay.
Obviously, you've got to look at people who's in training, who are ready to fight. Joe Joyce is game as they come. He's a great little story where he's beat Joe before. So we thought that was the obvious opponent. It would have caused a lot of problems for Queensbury, because obviously he was fighting
Next week.
So they would have then had to replace him. But I think they were prepared to do that. And basically, I had a phone call with Turkey Al Sheikh and the big boss, and he, I think he liked Lawrence Okoli. He also liked Bakole. There was a couple of others he mentioned, but I think they were the main two in the end. And he wants the best fight. It's a big card for him. And he thought this was the best fight. He thought that, there's a lot of danger in this. Maybe not so much with Okoli. And fair play to Joe. I think Joe was the man in the end who made the decision. He wanted to fight what he thought was the best fighter. So fair play to Joe. I mean, if that was me, I don't know if I'd have took that same option. But Joe took the option. He was offered, I think, both. And Joe said, I'll fight Bakole, no problem.
Yeah, we saw Joe's reaction. He couldn't care less who's in the opposite corner.
I don't think he could, but I know who I'd have preferred to fight. But Lawrence is hard work for everybody, isn't he? Now he's put all that weight on. He doesn't have to worry about chopping weight, and he doesn't have to worry about chopping weight, or he's a proper heavyweight now, isn't he? So, if he gets beaten by Bakole, is it such a bad thing? Yeah, it probably is for Joe. But would it have been a lot worse if it was Okoli? What's the? I think Joe will win this fight. Fair play to Martin Bakole, who's jumping on a plane from Kinshasa, and I think he gets in tomorrow. I think he gets in this morning at 3:00 in the morning.
Oh, so he's not even here yet?
No, he's not here.
He's having to go to Dubai and then come here, isn't he? Yeah.
Yes. So it's...
Spencer, what about his medicals and stuff like that?
Well, you'd have thought. I mean, I haven't had any contact or not privy to any of that. I spoke to Billy Nelson this morning, and Billy was getting everything ready. He never mentioned medicals, and I would have thought he's due to fight very soon anyway, isn't he, himself?
May, yeah.
In May, so I would have thought all that had been taken care of. But you never know, do you?
Okay.
And it's very extremely rare this happens, isn't it? at this level.
Of course, I said it's unprecedented. The deal got done within an hour, which I still can't get my head around. Spencer, we all know in boxing how dangerous Martin Bakole is. I'm assuming, though, he didn't start camp for his fight in May because he trained in Scotland, of course. So,
I think he's been in camp.
okay,
I think he's been in the gym Billy told me he's been in the gym for the last 8 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's been in the gym, and then I think he had to go back to his home to start building a house. Started building the house and went back there, and he was coming back very soon. So they'd done a lot of the work beforehand, and they were just going to continue with that. So I think he was going to come back next week. But this is the money that he's getting is again unprecedented.
You can buy 2 or 3 houses in Congo, probably.
In Congo, he might be able to buy 10. So, that's where we are. And it's such a turnaround, and it's just like a whirlwind's just happened again, isn't it? Do I like the fight for Joe? Not really. Do I think Joe can win it? Definitely. It's a tough fight. Really, really tough fight for anybody. Martin Bakole is a tough fight for anybody.
Spencer, it's interesting what you've just said there because, we were all talking yesterday about Bakole. Oh, look, he's only known about this fight for 48 hours. He hasn't been training. He'll be out of shape, so we're not going to get a proper Martin Bakole. But the fact that you've just said he's been training, to your knowledge, for 8 weeks, that changes things a lot.
Yeah, of course it does. He's not getting off the sofa and just had a curry and chips. He's he's been training, and he's gone back to do what he's got to do. But what you'll find with Martin Bakole as well is, he walks into the gym. He's a heavy guy. He's, when his last fight, which we all, which amazed everybody. It didn't amaze me so much, but he's, he had plenty of weight on him, didn't he? No. He didn't look in shape, but he was. He can keep going and going and going. He's got a great engine. I've seen him spar with Tyson numerous occasions, and with Joe Parker, he sparred with Joe.
How were those spars?
Fantastic.
Spencer, just to close off, massive nights also for your guys in Ajit Caballero and Hamza Shiraz. Confident they both take the victories tomorrow night?
Yeah, I've just been looking at the price of the bookies. I was quite interested because they don't get it wrong a lot, do they, bookies? That's why they're bookies, and that's why we give them their money and we don't usually get our money back. Look, Ajit, I really fancy Ajit. I don't know why, I just do. But he has got that equaliser, hasn't he, every time?
Big bang.
The big bang zang. And he's got the equaliser. He's got to stay away from it for as long as he can. And I think they should call him the lumberjack, shouldn't they, Ajit? Because he chops people down, doesn't he? And he methodically takes them apart. He seems to have been having a good camp. He's told me he's had a good camp, but he's very nice guy. He doesn't shout about anything. He said, "What will be, will be." I think I can beat him, and that's all you need to know, isn't it, from your fighter? And as for Hamza, this is a really tough fight for Hamza. He's just done his. They just rung me now. He's just on his way, and everything's good. He's a big lump of a man, isn't he? I mean, I noticed that Adama said an inch on his soul, and Hamza was still towered over him, didn't he? But let's take nothing away from Adama. He's a great fighter. If I would have, I wouldn't have picked him. I would have gone down. I would have rather have fought Lara, I just think it's a tough fight for him. But I've got to back him every time. There's something about him that he's got a star written all over him, hasn't he?
For sure.
He's got a star written all over him, and I like his attitude to everything. He's very focused. He doesn't cheat on anything, whether it's eating or training, or if it's 50 of those, he'll do the 50. He won't do 49. He'll do the 50. He's that kind of guy, and he's He's a true gentleman as well, isn't he? And I think he's a future star. He looked really confident. Did you think he looked really confident yesterday?
Focused, laser.
Really focused, really confident. So I've got to say, I think all three and little Mo Alakal as well. I think he'll, just part of his education. So wouldn't it be nice to get 4 winners on the card?
I'm sure it would.
And I think they're all capable of doing it, and I think they'll all win. The only thing I'll say is about this Saudi Arabia is that you can't leave any stone unturned here, because you get dehydrated very quickly. You probably notice that as you're always drinking water, and you can't leave no stone unturned, because we've seen it time and time again. People do get turned over. So I think everybody's conscious of that. And we talk about it all the time. Got to be on our game. Got to be on top of our game. The only thing I will say about Joe is that he's been here 3 weeks. He's been here 3 weeks, and he turned a corner, didn't he? With Andy Lee, they turned a corner, and he just seems to be, I don't know, maybe Andy's given another 20-30% with George Lockhart as well. He's a lot bigger, a lot stronger, he looks to me. He's so confident, Joe, all the time now. He's and you can't let that doubt creep in at all. I don't think he has, and it's going to be some fight, isn't it?
For sure. Listen, Spencer Brown, well done to all you guys involved
Thank
for
you.
keeping the show on and producing a
That's
quality
Turkey
fight.
Ella Sheikh, so he's done that.
Yeah, but all of you guys had to work on the ground hard.
Yeah, we did, but it's things happen very quickly here, as you can all see, and they have from the start. So he wants to give you the best fights he can, 50-50 fights, and I just think that it'll be an incredible. We've lost a couple, but it'll be incredible Saturday.
Most definitely.
Thanks, mate.
Spencer, thank you for your time.
Cheers, mate.
The fight card of the century, live on DAZN Worldwide, February 22nd, with belts on the line all night, featuring an epic rematch, Beterbiev versus Bivol 2, for the undisputed light heavyweight championship.
Undisputed on the line.
Dubois versus Parker, defend or dethrone for the world heavyweight crown. Stevenson versus Schofield, superstars battle for lightweight world championship glory. Adames versus Silas, heavy hitters meet for the middleweight championship of the world. Ortiz Jr. versus Madrimov, knockout kings collide for the world super lightweight throne. Zhang versus Kabayel, titans clash for world heavyweight domination. Buatsi versus Smith, battle of Britain eliminator for a shot at the world title. The fight card of the century, February 22nd, with belts on the line all night. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.